This is Corbin Carroll. He is very good at baseball.
And the guy knows it's gone.
Fly ball to right, backs up Benson. Corbin Carroll has hit another one against the Reds. Blue goes last 11 starts, and that's up the line. A fair ball. Go, Corbin, go. Corbin Carroll.
How good is he? Well, in his rookie campaign, at the age of 22, he placed in the top 10 of 3 major offensive categories in the National League, while also reaching 7th in all of Major League Baseball in the greatest stat invented in the 21st century. How does he do it? Well, you'll often hear the term 5-tool player thrown around when describing Carroll. This means that all 5 are the criteria used when evaluating a player grayed out as average or above for Carroll. In the 20 to 80 scouting scale on Fangraphs, Carroll has a potential 70 hit tool, 60 game power, 55 raw power, 80 speed, and 70 fielding. In layman's terms, Carroll has the contact ability of Vladimir Guerrero, power of Bobby Abreu, speed of Juan Pierre, and the fielding potential of Ken Griffey Jr. Despite both his raw and tameable skills, Carroll was slightly overlooked in the 2019 draft, when he was selected 16th overall by the Arizona Diamondbacks. Despite all of the talent taken before him, many teams are retroactively hitting themselves for not taking a player who so clearly had superstar potential. Why was he so overlooked? Maybe it was because he was from the Pacific Northwest, an area not unlike Mike Trout's neck of the woods in New Jersey, that had a notable gap in scouting coverage. But many scouts who did see him were on the fence due to his small stature being a measly 5'10". What a cruel world we live in where 5'10" is considered short. Not that I can relate. Despite a lost season in rookie ball due to the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as a shoulder injury the following season, Carroll had a meteoric rise through the minors in 2022. A season that ended with a cup of coffee that had Diamondbacks fans salivating over the possibility of having their very own superstar. A role left vacant since the trade of franchise stalwart Paul Goldschmidt in 2018. Diamondbacks fans were left in even more jubilance during spring training 2023 after their team agreed to terms that would keep Carroll in Arizona for the next 9 years, buying out his arbitration for a cool $48.75 million while tacking on a potential 3 more years for $85.25 million, a deal very similar to how the Atlanta Braves have locked up their core for the majority of the 2020s. Carroll immediately made the first year of the extension look like a steal by posting the greatest rookie season in Diamondbacks history per FWAR. Which begs the question, will Corbin Carroll be the greatest Diamondback of all time? Now, we are going to use wins above replacement here. Okay, before I have to hear it in the comment section, what other metric could I possibly use here? I know WAR is an imperfect stat, but god damn it if it's not the best stat we have at our disposal. So first thing we see here is that it's a very short list at the top. That's because the Diamondbacks, along with every other 90s expansion team besides the Rockies, stay weird Colorado, have struggled to keep a player in their uniform for an extended period of time. That's how Randy Johnson, a man who started his Diamondbacks tenure at the age of 35, older than Madison Bumgarner is now, was able to run away with the Diamondbacks WAR leaderboard. So, can Carroll do it? As we mentioned, he already posted the highest wins above replacement for a Diamondbacks rookie. But not only that, he tied for the 6th highest WAR total for a Diamondbacks hitter of all time. If we look at ZiPS, a projection system used by people who were never good at baseball, we see Carroll is projected to be at 16.9 wins above replacement by the end of 2025, which would place him 9th on the all-time D-backs leaderboard with a guaranteed 5 years remaining on his contract. If we average his 2023 with his ZiPS projection over those final years, by the way, a very non-scientific practice that I do not recommend unless you're trying to pump out a video over the course of a weekend. We have him finishing 2nd all-time behind the previously mentioned Diamondbacks legend and noted Soundgarden photographer Randy Johnson. Now, just remember, this is a conservative estimate, more conservative than Ronald Reagan, the MyPillow guy, and the 1971 Bolivian coup combined. But what if I told you that Corbin Carroll played half his rookie season with a bum shoulder? That shoulder injury that cost him most of his 21 season I brought up earlier? Yeah, it came back with a vengeance in July. zapping his power back down to levels that his doubters originally expected from him. Amazingly, he was able to still maintain most of his productivity because, well, he's Corbin Carroll. There is a chance that 2023 was his floor, because remember, he just turned 23 years old, 4 years away from his physical peak. So using my No More Fielders projection system, shortened to NIMFs, if I use his 2023 as a floor and give him a ceiling of 9 wins above replacement, yeah, this is looking good. Not only do I think he will be the greatest Diamondback ever, he could do it by his 30th birthday. Now just remember, these are liberal projections. More liberal than the French Revolution, Eugene Debs, and women's suffrage combined. But the worst of my NIMPS projection still sees Corbin Carroll easily becoming the greatest Diamondbacks offensive player of all time. That's because at the very worst, he's still Juan Pierre on the bases, while being Ken Griffey Jr. in the field. Hell, I'd argue he's miles ahead of Juan Pierre, posting the most valuable season on the base paths of all time in 2023. Yeah, that's right. Every speedster you had a poster of in your room growing up have never achieved the base running proficiency of Corbin Carroll, according to a stat that was invented in 2014. However, Carroll does have one final obstacle in the way of building his statue at Chase Field. Dodgers, Giants, Padres, and I guess you Rockies fans out there, please cover your ears. The Diamondbacks are absolutely loaded with young talent. More specifically, Jordan Lawler and Drew Jones, two players with an insane skill set who play premium positions. In fact, Drew Jones could directly reduce Carroll's value by permanently bumping him off of center field. That contract Carroll is signed to? Well, let's just say contracts structured like that only work if you sign multiple prospects to similar deals. All in all to say, Carroll's extended tenure won't be unique if both players live up to their hype. What we do know is that Randy's stake as the greatest Diamondback of all time is most likely to fall in the next decade. The only real question is who claims it. With the unprecedented young talent we saw in 2023, not many can say they have a legitimate shot to become the George Washington of their franchise's Mount Rushmore. Adley Rutschman probably isn't surpassing Cal. Bobby Witt Jr. has a ways to go before dethroning Brett. And Julio Rodriguez, even with his choose-your-own-adventure super contract, is going to have to patch a few holes in his swing if he ever wants to be looking past the kid. I know that a single number cannot determine who we consider to be the greatest player to don their respective team's colors. That's part of the joy of sports. All of these questions are left up to debate. You might even be an angry Diamondbacks fan shouting at their screen that Miguel Montero is the undisputed greatest Diamondback of all time. I get it. We all have our inherent biases when it comes to crowning our favorite team's greatest player. Not everyone can have a Hank Aaron. At the end of the day though, Corbin Carroll has a good shot to at least throw his name in the conversation, if not become the undisputed face of Diamondbacks baseball. So let me know what you think. Is Corbin Carroll going to be the name everyone defaults to when the topic of greatest Diamondback of all time is brought up? Or does he fall short, due to his own performance not living up to the reputation that preceded it, or because a fellow snake takes it from right under him? Thank you for watching, and if you are interested in Arizona sports history, please check out my friend the Diamond series called The Valley, linked below.